You haven't used it. I'm trying to push you to use it.
So I remember being shy about it. I look young, and because, I have hair and because I care about my appearance, naturally a bias will exist. You catch more flies with honey. When you understand what the bias is, then you can start to use this to your advantage.
Fear of being surrounded with dominant men.
My whole family is involved, and we are all just living this entrepreneur dream.
I have 3 questions for you. I want quick answers.
Okay.
I made my first million at the age of. Find out about it at the age of.
What I was 38.
38. I got married at the age of.
I don't remember. 7 years ago, what was I? 32? 33. 33, I think.
First kid at the age of.
29.
29. So, did real estate affect badly on any of those? Of course, not the million, because it helped you to make the million. You got married, you think, was it hard to talk to guys because you're a hustler, you have properties, they don't have any property? Did it?
No, they love me.
I'm going to say it in this way, but we will beep it. Did it cock block you being a real estate investor?
No, they love me.
Seriously?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I have a lot of friends, and I'll talk to my friends, and, they'll, be so concerned about guys and what they're saying and dissecting the messaging and, really trying to make themselves available. And I have standards that are very high. And what I find is you teach people how to treat you. And when you're okay to walk away, when you're fine to burn the ship down.
But meeting guys and getting guys to be comfortable sitting with you on a dinner, on a date, and knowing that you have more money than them.
No.
Was it, or you didn't hang out with guys who doesn't have
I didn't
more money?
hang out. I had guys that were also great. They were quality men that had brought things to the table. Maybe it wasn't real estate, but it would have been maybe owning businesses or, having...
Did you date someone who has money less than you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they stick that around because now I hear this excuse, I'm a hardworking woman. Guys doesn't want to date or can't tolerate a hardworking
Then he's
woman.
not the guy. That's it. It's just so simple that he is not the guy. And my husband's a great example because he had a condo at the time, and I convinced him to rent out the condo instead of selling it when we moved in together, and wasn't into real estate. He's, a big guy. He's like a bodyguard by trade. He's a fighter.
That's a warning. That's a warning. Don't flirt, JC. I got a big boy.
He's a big guy, yeah. And he has, because my skill set is stronger in real estate, in business, in making money, in all of those things. He has really picked up on the home front, and he has really become the support system and works the back end of the business and is somebody who, my biggest cheerleader. But that's just how it is, and it was so natural for both of us to roll into these positions.
That's awesome.
If you paired us together, which when we're out and people know that we're in real estate, they look at him and they ask him, and he's just like, I don't know, ask my wife. I don't know.
And he's comfortable to say it.
So comfortable.
So it's not the right guy when they can't handle a hardworking
100%.
woman and ambitious women.
100%. 150%.
I hear this complaint all the time. I work so much, I make good money, and this is pushing guys away from me.
Send them to me.
I think they're making the wrong excuses. Right?
Exactly. They are not the right person. The right person will come when you know your worth and your value. They will see that, and they will want to be with you. And when it's that good fit, they will show up.
Victoria is crazy. I've never, and I don't want this to go the wrong way, okay? I've never had a chat with a lady and she didn't use the lady card. You haven't used it. I'm trying to push you to use it, and you're not using it.
I don't even know what is the lady card.
So what's your the lady card? I'm a female. That's why I couldn't get the job. I'm a female. That's why I didn't get raised. I'm a female. Yeah. They can't handle a rich female. I'm a female. I couldn't get this deal. They prefer to give it to another male. So you don't use this card.
No.
That's your secret of success as a female.
I recognize it. Certainly, I can think. 22 years in the military, I have seen.
Yes, I know. You're in the
lady card. I've seen the lady card, and I recognize it when it happens. It doesn't stop me. It doesn't affect me.
It exists.
Oh, it exists. 100%.
How do you beat it? How do you overcome someone looking at you as a female? I think you mentioned it in the beginning of the podcast, but I want you to actually look in the eye of every good-looking lady out there and tell her how to overcome this.
You overcome it by knowing that that's not what defines you, and knowing that who you are is valuable and what you bring to the table is worthy. And if the people that are passing you by or looking over you, then they don't need to know. Like you don't need to be at that table. Go find a table with the people who are going to value you.
Because it exists.
It exists. It exists. You have to do the work, though. You have to be valuable. You have to be somebody who can show up. You have to be somebody who can provide input, who listens. You don't have to say everything all the time. I think a lot of people speak too much. And I mean, I'm on a podcast now and I just feel like I'm just like rolling with it. But I really like being quiet too. And I really like listening.
Thank you for not being quiet on my podcast.
Yeah. I know my role right now. But I really like sitting at a table and listening and hearing what people have to say and then speaking. And not needing to fill the room all the time either. And
so you're saying women tend to do this all the time?
I think that women, here's a good example. Okay, so I was invited to be a speaker, one of the panelists for Ottawa Valley Women in Business. And it was awesome. Like, it was a full room of women. And I remember the moderator was very quiet and laughed and giggled quite a bit, that nervous laugh. And I thought it was really interesting because she actually asked me for feedback. That doesn't happen normally, because I said, thank you very much, and, shook her hand. And she said, how did I do? And I said, I think you need to be more confident. I think you need to, what you're saying is amazing. She was funny, and thank you. She wasn't confident in her delivery. And it happened, too, with some of the panelists as well, that I think that women have a hard time sometimes owning the space and make the mistake of...
Why is that? Because they use the card in their head. I'm a woman and someone will be in my way or will be harder for me.
Sometimes. And I remember going to an event, male dominant. They asked for people to, come up and talk. And I remember I had something big to share and I didn't do it because I didn't want to go through all the what are people going to think? Like, who am I? Nobody knows me. And so I remember being shy about it and then sitting there and reflecting and thinking, why was I shy? I'm not normally like that. Like, I don't know why I held back, but it gives me a lot of empathy and understanding with how other women can feel sometimes by not wanting to go through all of that. And I host a women's real estate meetup. And so while I'm also with another organization where we had met, I also run a women's one. And it's predominantly women. I mean, men can come, but it's always with the
I'm
emphasis.
Definitely going to that
You
one.
should come.
Yeah.
Would love to get you guys there, actually. I was thinking about that on the drive-in. But that space allows women that just like freedom to speak, to talk, to connect. We are wired differently. There is something inside of us that's very collaborative, and, women like to work together and do it well. And so the environment is very different from like one meetup to another. And I think that they're both important to be able to, I almost say it's like a gateway for women to come in and feel that confidence. And then
what does it take to be a member in this group?
Show up.
Just show up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And is there like regular meetings or calls that happens every month?
Yes. We meet the first Wednesday of every month. It's called Invest Her. It's on meetup.com. So we get a lot of women that find us that way, or they bring their friends, or, maybe they've been following me and they see I post about it.
Any in-person events?
Always in person. So it's, for me, very important to have the in-person so that that connection can be made. And I always said, even if we had like COVID too, and we could only have 5 people, I'm still doing 5 people.
Good job.
Then.
Yeah, you need the energy exchange. Well, honestly, I have a long list for you, so you can call and invite them because I have lots of female friends that they want to start real estate, that they're getting their real estate license, that they're getting their mortgage brokerage license, and they're like, I can tell they're a little bit afraid. I know project managers, I know building managers, and they don't attend any of these events. And I think it's the fear of being surrounded with dominant man who doesn't welcome the female in there. And I know it exists, but don't use this card. I mean, I came here and I met some. I was born in Lebanon, but I had the citizenship since I was born.
Yes.
So I came here 4.5 years ago. And every person who used to use the card, because I have an accent, because I don't speak English very well, I sit away from them. 4.5 years later, I promised myself every year a business. Now I'm running 5 businesses. It hasn't been 5 years yet. So the card might exist if you focus on it. If you don't focus, it won't exist. Like I don't feel any difference.
100%.
I feel like I even have an advantage.
Well, I love that you say that. And really, everybody has a card of some sort. Everybody has a card.
Yes, a brunette, a blondie, short, tall.
And I'm glad that we're talking about this because it's a bias. Like in the world that I work in, we say bias. And so when I walk into a room, I know that there's a bias about me because I look young and because, I have hair and because I care about my appearance. Naturally, a bias will exist. And when you understand what the bias is, then you can start to use this to your advantage.
100%.
And that's what I do now.
100%.
And so I love being friendly because you catch more flies with honey. And it works for me because I recognize that,
you catch more flies with honey.
Yes.
I love this one.
It's nice to walk into a room and people smile at you when you walk in.
Yeah.
I like connecting. And so I have just learned to use this to my advantage. And it's authentic. Like I'm not trying to manipulate. I'm really just trying to lean in to who I am, who I represent, but part of it is not just outward. There's actually a lot more inside, and that comes through once we connect, once we talk, once we, are taking this somewhere, who knows, like from a networking perspective.
You have a top 40 lessons post that I saw on TikTok. We will get to this one, but first I want to go to multiple choice questions.
Okay.
So there's a question, there's 3 choices for each question.
Okay.
So we'll go through it quick, fast.
I just finished school, JC. I feel like...
I want to learn so much from you. That's why I have all these questions.
I love this.
So what makes you rich? Money, knowledge, or happiness?
Nah, happiness. I said nah because I was going to go knowledge, but I truly believe happiness makes you rich.
So can you be happy without money?
Yes.
Without money at all?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
Okay.
Ask Gandhi.
Why did you start your business? Lack of jobs, or why did you start investing in real estate? You wanted an exit from your job. Obviously not. You still have your job. Mm-hmm. You wanted to prove something, or you wanted to follow a dream?
I wanted to prove something.
What is it?
Capability. I've always been somebody that if you ask me to do something, it stems from my dad. I remember my dad would say, okay, let's go Vic, or learn how to drive standard. And I would just always do it, even if I was scared. And so
I want to get back to this.
Same thing.
I want to get back to this. Money to me is protection, a weapon, a bridge.
A bridge.
I'm successful because I was patient. I was impatient in between.
Impatient.
I love it. Only one answer I don't love so far. If I could go back, I would invest my money in real estate, on myself, as coaching, mentoring, hiring mentors, or crypto and stocks.
Myself.
Yep. Do you give back, yes or no?
Yes.
Are you a strict boss, flexible, strict, or asshole level?
Depends on the situation. Flexible, strict.
Flexible, strict.
Yes.
Not an asshole. Not a bit, sometimes.
No, I'm flexible, strict. Internally, I'm an asshole.
Okay, so you want to say some stuff you don't say.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to say something now and you're not saying it?
No, I'm having a great time.
Good.
Might be the whiskey.
But
no, I'm serious. I like it.
Political party, and you can pass on. That's the only question you can pass on.
More conservative than anything. And obviously, it just depends on what the platform is and what the promises are, but developed a little bit of disappointment.
Because it supports business owners and supports people who works hard.
Yeah, and same with the military too. Conservative has always been a little bit more Favorable.
Does your business affect your life? Yes, it's my whole life. No, I have a balance.
It's my whole life.
So are you spending enough time with your kids, with your husband?
Yes, and meaning like it's my whole life is in my whole family is involved, and we are all just living this entrepreneur dream. And, even my son, I'm just so grateful that he's interested and that he's exposed and that he will develop into a businessman in some capacity, I'm sure.
Would you rather deal with clients or team?
Team.
Love it. These are the questions. So you always felt like you want to prove something. Did someone tell, because you went to the army, 18 years old, bought real estate a year after.
Yeah.
Another property a year after. A year after. And then 3 years after.
And then the other year. So it was really back to back.
Back to back. So I feel like you were on a mission to tell someone, I did it, bitch. And like, who was this someone? Was it like one of your parents that who was it?
So I was brought up incredibly independent. And from even just like, my psych brain goes deep thinking about it. And so you think of attachment style. I have a type of attachment style where I learned how to self-soothe, take care of myself, and had great parents who loved me, but also have their own demons to work through. And so what I learned growing up was that I take care of myself, have always just been independent, and if I was encouraged to do something and I believed that that was a sound request, I would do it regardless.
So, are you a happy person?
I feel happy, yeah.
Why are you still making more money?
Oh, because I have an insatiable hunger. There's more.
So it makes you happy.
I'm very happy right now, and if I could,
makes you happier to make more money.
Oh yeah, like I have goals. And
so money comes first.
It doesn't come over and above.
If you didn't have any money now, and you have a husband, you have a kid, but your kid needs something or needs college, and you have to send him to work, or like you can't afford what you can afford right now, would that make you happy?
Yeah, if he had to work for his money, I never like even did a college fund for him, even like back when I didn't have or didn't know that I had money. The thing is about being a real estate investor, you always put your money into your property. So I don't necessarily live this lavish.
So you never have so much cash.
No.
You never have cash.
No, I never have cash, and I'm quite conservative and frugal. So the pool has been like our biggest purchase, and of course the home that we have now is quite nice. And so does it provide, like it provides this sense of comfort that we have, but we had comfort with a house that was a quarter of the price that we have now without a pool, and we were very happy, and quality relationships are
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I believe money helps you to become happy.
Oh, yeah.
And money is, because I've seen people with no money and they're still surviving, but all they're talking about that I don't have money.
That's right.
It affects on their like confidence on so many things. And I don't think if you don't have so much confidence and you have lots of insecurities and lots of regrets for the past, you can be happy. That's why I think having money, it's guaranteed happiness. Because if you're going through stuff, you can spend money and then get it over with.
Yeah, I remember Grant Cardone, it might have been, who said that they're two very separate, but I would rather be unhappy and rich than unhappy and poor.
He said it in the Toronto multifamily conference.
Exactly.
We were both there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I do kind of believe that I can be happy without money, but I am very excited about the idea of our future and what I want to do with it. And luxury for me is like one of my top values. It's actually like way up there. I like the nice things in life.
Nice. So you brag now.
Did you start
bragging or not yet? Because you used to hate guys like the financial advisor.
Yeah.
You didn't trust him because he used to brag. So do you brag now? And by brag, I'm not saying like see your friends and tell them you have money.
Yeah.
Bragging can be like owning nice things, treating yourself like really generously, buying a very nice watch, buying a very nice ring, buying your husband a very nice gift, your kid. Do you brag now?
No, I'd rather put it in real estate. I'm still I'm still
frugal.
I don't need much. And my husband, so we have this amazing garage gym, and we invest a lot of money in this garage gym. Okay. And he will always want like the next piece of equipment or the next thing. And for me, I'm very just like, don't we have enough? Can't we do everything that we need to do? And sure, maybe there's like one exercise we can't do.
You guys are the opposite, huh? Usually the female wants to buy the
I know.
stuff.
I'm very comfortable. I can be happy with what I have. I'll go and spend. I'll drop money on a property like an afterthought. But I'll sit and stew about, buying
You believe in a simple life. La simplicité fait la beauté.
I do. I think so. But then again, I like luxury. So I think that there's more work that needs to be done about, I want to spend my money wisely. And I want it to go and work for me. And if I go and I'm a consumer all the time, it's not working for me. And so right now, we have enough. And the money that I have, I want it to duplicate. I want it to like triple, quadruple.
Damn right. Everyone, get your pens ready. Top 40 lessons I learned.
Top 40, yeah.
Top 40 lessons I learned before 40.
Go take a bathroom break. We're going to be here a while.
Yes.
So 40 lessons I learned before 40 as a millionaire. Cultivate a positive mindset and practice gratitude. Learn to forgive and let go of grudges. Pursue your passion and hobbies. Embrace change and adaptability. Seek continuous learning and personal development. It's okay to ask for help when needed. Take care of your mental well-being. Surround yourself with positive and supportive people who inspire you. Take responsibility for your actions and your choices. Practice effective communication skills. Time flies. Make the best of every moment. There will be seasons of stabilizations and season of hustle. Embrace both. It's okay to set boundaries and say no. Failure is an opportunity for growth and learning. Invest in building strong relationships with family and friends, quality over quantity. Don't compare yourself to others. Everyone has their own journey. Travel and explore different cultures and perspectives. Do not fear the judgment of others. Take risks and embrace new opportunities. And last, your health should be a top priority. Prioritize regular exercise and a balanced diet.
These are 20 lessons, I guess. These are 20 or 19 lessons. 20 lessons. If you want to know the next 20, you know how to find her on social media. Victoria Clooney, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I never promote anyone here. But it's 40 lessons. Yeah, we need to move to the second part.
How long is this podcast? A 24-hour marathon.
Honestly, all these lessons, they're like, people takes 10 years or 20 years, 30 years, 40 years to learn these lessons. And if the audience will actually take seriously all these lessons and follow, you're giving them a big shortcut. Do you welcome other females to reach out to you and ask for advice, for help, for support because they feel stuck in some situation? I
not only welcome, I encourage it. And I respond to every message. Unless they're trying to sell me something, then I don't respond. But any message from anybody who wants help, I love just doing like a text note to somebody. You can ask me questions, whatever I can do to support. I went so long without a network, and I just wish that I had had somebody who had gone through what I was going through there to answer a question. And so I am that person, and I want to be that person for everybody that's out there just feeling lost and unsure and looking for a little bit of clarity in how to grow. If you feel like there's something inside of you that is destined for more, if you're having this like nagging feeling, then pursue it.
Well, Victoria, cheers to top 40 lessons.
Yeah, thank you.
Victoria, what's next for you? The evil laugh again. I'm creeped out.
I've got there are things. Even this morning, I was just, already brainstorming. So I just finished yesterday, my master's of organizational psychology. Thank you. I
can't keep doing cheers for you. I'm going to get drunk.
I know. We'll be here all day. But that was huge. But what that does, it is credibility in this field. And I will be going back to work. So I'm going back full time to the Canadian Armed Forces. And it's a big transition for me. But what's this doing is it's actually making me step back from the business, but not away. And my team has really stepped up. And so when we talk about, do as I say, not as I do, I have been a manager that has been really in my business, and I knew this. Leader, absolutely. And I guess both, because there was a time that I didn't have anybody that I was managing, and now we've grown, and so now I am managing, and I have a team. And stepping back for the past couple of weeks doing the transition, the team is really stepping up, so I'm very excited about that. And now I'm also thinking about other business opportunities that I will be developing. And
like what?
Even just so I'm really interested in team building and from organizational standpoint, but to a point of really putting people through situations that show their true colors, their weaknesses, their strengths, and I think that this is something that entrepreneurs would love. I think that, even in fitness, for example, when you work out, there's a certain type of workout that really breaks you down. You got to break the muscle down to build it back up, and pushing through that discomfort. And a lot of people stop at the discomfort and they don't push past it. And I'm really interested in providing a scenario for people to be able to push through discomfort and find out who they are. That's really something that my wheels have been turning about. Of course, I go back to work and I have the opportunity to have a lot of impact at work, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a big shift for me to go back into that environment, but I embrace all change.
Is there a number for retirement? Is there amount of money you want to make, or doors you want to own and rent out and say, that's it, I quit my both jobs and just relax at home or travel?
So a number is in time, because for me, I've been sponsored by the military, and so there's obligatory service that is connected to that, and so I go back for a certain period of time. I actually love my job, and I love what I do with the military and the impact that I get to have. And so once the obligatory service is up, that's when I make a decision on, okay, how can I make both worlds work? Because I am incredibly passionate about my business and the growth and creativity that I can have as an entrepreneur. I'll never have in the forces. But I still want to serve. I still want to be able to do what my job is.
For how long?
That's the good question. So 3 years is the finite time that I will do that, but then I'll find a way to balance both, because again, the military has lots of opportunities where you don't have to be full-time. Maybe I go reserves, but maybe I do stay full-time. Maybe I have a self-managing business. I'm very adaptable. Okay. So depending where we are at that stage and the situation, then I make the best decision for taking into account all scenarios.
There is something I was talking about with someone else the other day, actually yesterday. Do you belong somewhere? Someone asked you this question, I noticed, if you we're born in Ottawa, went school in Ottawa, you're investing in real estate in Ottawa, you have your job in Ottawa, you got married to someone in Ottawa, you have kids in Ottawa, so you belong here. I don't feel like I want to ever belong anywhere. You were forced not to belong anywhere because you were moving, but for me personally, I know half of my life I want to spend it on the plane and the other half on a farm. Most likely Ottawa. Really? I'm in the middle of buying a farm right now. Are you? Yes.
What, west side, east side?
On the Quebec side.
Okay, all right, yes. Interesting.
And I know I don't want to belong anywhere. Even if I have my farm here, I don't belong here. So do you advise people to buy real estate where they live only? Because I heard this tip, another real estate millionaire, buy real estate where you live because you will be able to manage it easier, less stress, understand the market more because you go to networking events in this area. I don't believe so, because there's other amazing opportunities in other provinces that you can hop on with partners from the area. So what's your thoughts about this?
I'm very much into really honing in on your own unique needs and future goals. So for me, it's all about doing that personal assessment to figure out, okay, what's my comfort level? What are my risk aversions? Where is that? And if you can stomach investing outside of your area and it works for the type of property that you want to invest in, we talk about property avatars, because each type of asset class brings a different type of management, income, revenue, strategy involved with it. And a big part of what I talk to people is just like, do the work internally to figure out, okay, what is it that you want? What's going to get you to the goal that you have based on like what your situation is now and your future. And so decide the properties to invest in based on that, and then choose the market that fits that best. And you kind of have to take everything into consideration. So if you're somebody who needs to have hands-on, then you're not going to be comfortable investing outside of your market, even if it's more profitable. So I'm very person-centric to the situation. Me personally, I can invest anywhere, and I'm comfortable doing that. But I also have a high risk tolerance and a management ability. So I have been investing in different countries. I've been investing long distance, different provinces. So for me, I'm comfortable doing that. But if it's going to stress you out and you're going to lose sleep every night, then take that into consideration. Are you going to make more money? Probably somewhere else.
Is the Ontario government helpful for hustlers and entrepreneurs and landlords?
I mean, I think that we're in a difficult time right now, that's for sure, when it comes to all of the rights of landlords and tenants. And there's a disparity happening. And even just for the length of time that it takes to get to the tenancy board to find out whether or not, who's on what side or what the right answer is going to be. I think that ultimately, an entrepreneur, a true entrepreneur, is going to find the way, regardless of the government. But right now, it's definitely not easy to invest.
Why is always the entrepreneur, the employer, and the landlord in Ontario are the monster? Maybe you don't have the answer, but do you agree with me or not? Like, we always present it as we're the monster.
I agree.
You see videos on TikTok talking shit about landlords, and these people are from Ontario. Yeah. You don't hear someone like a regular citizen from Calgary talking shit about the landlord.
I think it's a lack of, their knowledge. I think that...
You think it's overprotection? Like the government is overprotecting the lazy people, maybe?
I think that we're certainly not empowering people. I think that by giving...
That's a polite answer.
I do. I really we can back up even to the education system, not even just what the government is doing with giving money. Just with the education system, it's not designed for an entrepreneur, and I'm a product of that. I have an entrepreneurial spirit, and I am an entrepreneur. I was never shown how to be an entrepreneur.
That's
My
why
parents
we have
weren't.
this podcast, by the way.
I love it, and that's why I am so passionate to talk about that, because I hope somebody hears it, because I never listened to podcasts. I didn't know about that, and so I don't think we're supporting that type of ownership
mentality.
Yeah.
We're actually going against it.
Yeah.
Because we're friends. I can introduce you to my friends and make them build some kind of image about you, and you'll work really hard to change it after. What I believe is, like in Ontario, they're giving the employees and these people who can't afford buying real estate and the renters an image that we want to take advantage of them.
Yes.
By like so many laws and rules. Do you know, starting 2021, we cannot make an employee sign a non-compete agreement? So I can hire a fresh graduate student in videography. They know nothing, because all the fresh graduates knows nothing. And we teach them how to actually deliver a product. 2 months later, they can have an ad on Kijiji, have their own clients in the same city that I'm providing the service. Do you know that this law exists in Ontario?
I didn't, but...
It exists starting 2021.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. It's stupid. Like, I'm paying rent for offices. I'm training these people. I have so much cost for training, buying equipment, etc., etc. I'm giving this person a career, but then you're letting them compete with me. So this employee would never have this feeling, I want to grow with this company. Because as long as you have your own clients and I have my own, that means we're not one family. So I will never be satisfied with this employee, not because they competition, no, because they're not giving it their best. Tenants, they always make sure the tenants knows that they can give hard time to the landlord. Always, like every landlord, if they need something from the tenant has a very rude response. I'm a tenant now, right? And my landlord loves me. I never complain.
Yeah.
If I want something, a very kind email. One time she sat me down, she showed me emails from other tenants. Like if they're asking her for something, they're so rude because they know they can get it from her. So they're empowering this mentality so much, way too much in Ontario.
And I think that, it just stems to people not taking responsibility and people looking for, so there's intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Or actually, I wouldn't even say motivation, sorry, locus of control. So when you have extrinsic locus of control, that means that everything externally impacts you and you place the blame on the external instead of the internal. And what's happening is the external locus of control, and we can, label them as tenants because the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I'm sure there's so many nice tenants out there that don't, like even for yourself, right? But that's because you have internal locus of control. But what we're doing is we're empowering people with the external who are putting blame on everybody but themselves for the situations that they're in. And when we talk about the card, everybody has a card. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a history.
We should name this episode The Card.
The card. Everybody has one. And it's not here to say like mine is worse than yours or yours is worse than mine. It's to say, how did we overcome it? What things did you do? Were you resilient enough to be able to pick yourself up after every setback? And what I think that we're doing as a government is empowering those who don't want to pick themselves up. And
don't work hard. Don't worry. Stay there because we will have control over you this way. You'll always be sheep to us. And if we say something, you'll do it.
Like I do believe in support, of course, if somebody's down, but then how do we follow up with that? How do we, what do we do to empower people? That's the bigger question to me. It's like, what are we doing to educate? And what are we doing to show people? Because if they've never been taught, they're always going to stay in that mindset and that thought process, and they're a product of this environment that we or the government has created for them. And so that's the issue right now. It's like people just want to have somebody to hate on, and that's going to be the landlords because they don't understand that people need us, the landlords, to actually make some type of profit in order to continue to be landlords.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, we're not going to. And
absolutely.
There's 1,000,001 things that I could do to make money. And if it isn't in real estate, then I'm not staying in real estate. I'm not so married to real estate that I'm just going to burn down with the
ship. They need to understand, I'm here for the money and there's no shame of it.
Yep.
I'm not a monster if I'm making more money than you. It's just I work harder than you. I'm sorry.
And it doesn't have to, like the pendulum doesn't have to swing one way or another. There can be some kind of medium. And I've always thought about with the rent caps that are going on right now, they've put a rent cap on, but maybe a property, maybe rent is less than half of what it should be. And my opinion has always been to put a rent cap at whatever market value is, and then maybe put that 2% cap on that and establish a market value so that we can at least have some fairness in the game. But, a landlord that has, like I have some properties that would be well below market value for the rent that I'm receiving. I mean, I was lucky. They were good properties. The numbers made sense, and I'm not pursuing kicking the tenants out. But if I did, I would get double what the rent is.
That's almost impossible to kick them out.
Exactly. So I'm not going to go through all. There is strategies that people put, but they're good tenants. They pay the rent, and it floats it enough.
Perfect.
I get the value and the appreciation. So that was the strategy I chose for that property. But
that's very kind of you too, because you could have made more money.
And there has to be a balance, holier than thou, that it's not about the money, because it is about the money, but how do I feel good getting out of bed every day? What are my ethics? What's the integrity behind what I'm doing? I have to be able to feel comfortable, and that was where the motel came in from, this feel-good investing. Like I decided I just wanted to feel good about investing, and the motel was a great opportunity for that. It makes great money. It's colorful, it's creative. People go there, they're very happy to be there, and so it feels great.
I like that it's fully automated. There are very few, and I think that's what's gonna make it very unique. It's gonna attract different niche.
Yeah.
Because if I'm like, let's say, I'm not saying this is just for the young, but like if I'm young, I want to go to the fully automated motel, because I think it will have a different vibe in it. Because most motels, they have like a very old vibe.
Yes.
I don't feel like very like touristic in it and stuff like this. Victoria, what is a take-home message?
I really like the take responsibility for your actions. I think that might be a really good overarching from everything that we've talked about. It's like, sure, you're going to get knocked down. Sure, you're going to get the card put against you. Sure, you're going to have the government put regulations or policies in there. And at the end of the day, if we just let that dictate the results and our success, you're going to stay down, and then, you're not going to thrive. And if you can actually just say, okay, so what? The government this, so what? The card this. I'm just going to continue to move forward. I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to take responsibility for my own actions and my own success, then sky's the limit.
That's awesome. Anything else we'd like to say before we end?
I think this was awesome.
I know.
And I'm just really appreciative of coming here, and I hope we can do it again.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.